So you mentioned quality of life. You mentioned, the incentives and everything. What tell me about the sorcery. What is the list of the most important factors that go into the decision-making process for a business looking to either expand or move into a new area?
Yeah.
And then kind of how, on the economic development side, I guess the second piece of that is, how do you try to move the needle to nudge those decisions?
Yeah. Great start off, jump into it. So many factors are out there that communities and maybe their consultants weigh as far as, okay, if I'm going to make a business decision and put that new facility, new plant that manufactures the next greatest widget, or do an expansion of an existing company, those are the areas that we try to help facilitate. And so they evaluate sometimes desktop that we don't see that evaluation or part of that evaluation. They may look at where's decent labor force, where are locations that are in proximity to an interstate or an airport or a port of entry with ships, things like that. Maybe it's proximity to customers. So there's a lot that happens upstream that we don't influence necessarily. But when we get the call, we'll get the call from site consultants or the Department of Commerce or companies direct. And they'll ask us, okay, we have a request for proposal or information. Send us what you have on your available buildings or sites. Tell us a little bit more about your workforce. Tell us more about the assets of your utilities. What's the capacity and costs? They ask us for information about taxes and incentives. We respond to that. Our customer service is our number one resource, but the data information that we share and the follow-up that we do helps us get down the decision-making funnel. Mm-hmm. That's the key thing. Do not get cut if you can avoid it. So where we can impact the information that, and again, we're not going to make up information because they can check it, right? And so our information that we share, we are very confident in it, and then we hope we don't get eliminated. Now, there's some times where it's a negotiation, things that we deal with counsel and others that, the company says, all right, we want to go from 10 sites down to a selected maybe 3 or 2. And then those negotiations happen, and we may work on a fee in lieu of tax incentive or a state incentive with them. Those get inked contractually. Let me back up. Before all that, we do evaluate, do we want that company or not, when we talk about incentives, and we can talk about that more later. But the reality is it's a process that we try not to get eliminated. We get down the funnel. We hope that there's a win for us, and sometimes there's not. We recognize that. We're not the end-all, be-all to everybody, or we'd be full already. But when we do win, if the company wants to celebrate, and we will celebrate.
Yeah.
Sometimes there are situations they don't want to announce. They come and they don't want to announce. Not usually, especially when there's tight labor market times. They want to announce the heck out of it because it tells people they could be employed at that company.
Yeah, they put the flag and the beacon up, and
absolutely,
it's like sending up the bat signal. Come.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, those are the factors: workforce, your product. Again, product meaning sites and buildings. Let me stress that for us to sell the community, just like a car salesman wants to sell cars, you got to have product.
Got to have inventory.
Got to have inventory. And so we're a little weak on inventory on sites. Buildings, we have buildings out there. Definitely on sites that are ready to go that could be sold. So we're similar to the U.S. market with vehicles. There's not a lot of inventory out there.
Yeah.
But we're trying, and we need to keep working on it. Business climate, taxes, incentives kind of make that up. But also regulatory and the availability to process things, like our zoning and planning development team. Met with them this morning, was on a call also at 1:00 with a prospect. I can't say enough about how responsive our team is. I'm blessed that when I make a call and they take it, it's usually they're going to help. They will go out of their way to help. So that's a business climate advantage for us.